Morning, YouTube. Yes, it's Judy driving again, because this is the only time I get to reflect and be able to discuss openly with you when I'm not tired or trying to get a toddler to go somewhere. Alright, so this is actually take 3 of cluster feeding, and this lighting just is horrible. Nope, that's not going to work either. My mirror for me driving, my rear view mirror, is the one that's casting that big shadow on my eyes. So, cluster feeding. That's what we're going to discuss. This is actually take 3. Take 1 was done while driving, and then when I went to upload it, it failed. And then I think YouTube deleted the video because it failed or something. I don't know what happened. And take 2, I was doing it and I was confident in it, and then Cookie Monster on my GPS kept talking, so I'm like, this is not gonna be good. So let me so take 3 here. Cluster feeding. So number 1, if you're breastfeeding, great job. Just great job. Because a lot of it's a dying thing lately. Not as many people did it as they used to. And it needs to, I think it's an important thing. So, but cluster feeding when you're breastfeeding can be daunting. It can be tiring, and also your child, your baby is going to make you feel like you don't produce enough milk. Your baby's going to make you feel like you failed as a breastfeeding mom. It's tremendously difficult time period of emotions when all your baby's doing is wanting to eat, and you're like, I don't think I've got any more milk to give you, kid. I really don't think I've got any more milk to give you. And it's a time period where you're really set and ready to start feeding them formula. And I understand, and you can do that, but let me tell you the importance and what cluster feeding is and what it's doing. And this isn't because I just know it intuitively. Believe me, my midwife sat there with me crying my eyes out going, I don't have enough milk. My kid is starving. And she's like, no, they're not starving. Baby's not starving at all. Don't even worry about it. So what is going on when a kid cluster feeds? Well, let's first say, what the heck is cluster feeding, and why is Judy being so dramatic about it? Well, what cluster feeding is, without telling you why and whatever, your kid is probably a month in, 2 months in, or whatever, or several times during the breastfeeding, depending on how long you breastfeed for. But your baby is going to take a 24, 48, 72 hour of, all I want is you to put that boob in my mouth and keep it there, and then I'm going to tell you I don't want it. It's 5 minutes later, pretending like you didn't give me any milk, so I might as well just not be here anymore. And then 10 minutes after that, the baby's like, where's my milk? Where's my milk? And you set them all up and you get them hooked onto your boob again, and they go. But it feels like your baby's just telling you there's nothing there. And they'll do this for 24, 48, 72 hours of repeated, feed me. I don't think you're giving me milk. I'm done. Because you get used to the fact of, you get used to it when you are breastfeeding, that you feed your child and your child goes, oh, I'm so stuffed, and goes into this food coma. And it's like, oh, I've had so much milk that I'm just gonna sleep now. Well, that doesn't happen during this time period. They are on you like a hawk, like, I want food, I'm starving to death, type attitude towards you and not staying on the boob for very long. Okay? That's what it's gonna feel like. That's what you're gonna think is happening. You're gonna be like, oh my God, I have no food to give you. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I need sleep. And the kid's just gonna keep doing it. Alright? It ends, though. It doesn't last. It can last quite a long period of time. Sometimes it only lasts like 8 hours and you're done and the kid's fine after that. What is going on, though? What the thing that is happening is that supply and demand, okay? The kid knows that there's plenty of food right now for them. They are happy with the amount of food that they're eating right now. But they know they're growing. They know they're going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're going to need more food and more food. All right? So to do that, to make the boobs produce that much food for them, they have to ask for more food than what they really want. So that's what they're doing. They're asking the boobs for food that they don't need, so that later on, when they go into their next growth spurt, there's plenty of food there for them. And then they can go back into their awesome food comas of, oh, I filled my belly and now I get to sleep. But that's what's happening, okay? That's the easy side of it. That's the science behind it. They are preparing for themselves to get bigger and want and need more food later on. That's it. That's what cluster feeding is. The thing that happens when you start introducing formula during a cluster feed is the baby's like, wow, look at all this on-demand food. I don't have to demand anything from the boobs. I don't have to ask for food. Look at how much is coming in. It's pouring in. It's flooding in. I'm not going to have to ask for it. Uh-oh. Then what happens? No. So then what happens is the fact that shortly thereafter, you now have gotten to the point where you've given them all this food on demand via the formula, and then you're like, okay, they're not asking for food out of the breast. You're like, the boobs go, okay, well, I guess we don't have to produce that much. The kid's happy. So it kills your production. It doesn't like kill it like overnight. Don't worry about it. If you get so tired during a cluster feed that you feel the need to use formula, don't worry about it. Go for it. That's fine. Know that demand though wasn't asked for, and later on you're gonna have to go through another cluster feed attempt by the baby to keep that milk supply up. So just be ready that it's almost better off if you just get through it, toughen it out that first or second cluster feed, then you're not having to do it too often. You introduce formula, you're going to have to do more cluster feeds later on when the kid's like, oh my goodness, I'm growing and there's not enough milk, and then you're in a pickle. So that's my take on cluster feeds. Understand that you're going to need help. You're going to have to, all those prepared meals, or hopefully you prepared meals while you were out on maternity leave, like in the beginning part when it was easy. Hopefully you prepared meals when you were pregnant for when you have the baby at home, because this is when you're going to need them. You're going to have to tap into that supply of freezer food, because you're going to be too tired to cook. You're going to be too tired to clean up. You're going to be too tired to do much of anything except for get up off the couch, go pee, sit back on the couch, and put the kid back on your boob. And I'll tell you from all the moms that a bunch of moms that I've talked to. I haven't really asked this of my breastfeeding moms, but from internet and my midwife and stuff, don't be ashamed if you have to breastfeed while you're sitting on the toilet. It happens. Yeah, shit happens. It happens. You just have to do it. So that's my take on cluster feeding. By all means, make sure you have some sort of help and support, somebody that understands cluster feeding, so that when that time comes around, you can just say, hey, I need you to come over for 12 hours or whatever, because I'm in a cluster feeding session. Alrighty? I'll talk to you later. Bye.